Meetings and Conventions PEI recently attended the Georgetown Conference to speak with organizers about how they executed a successful convention of 150 people in a town of under 1,000.
One of the great takeaways about holding a conference in a rural area is the fact that people will come out of it with more than just the conference itself. Right? So you can go, we've all been to some of the conferences, and there's going to be the content, and you may be blown away by a speaker or by a certain workshop. But when you hold it in a rural area like this, and that it takes over, you're spread out, right? Because we're going to be at the threeplex, we're going to be here at the King's Playhouse. People are staying in three different hotels or inns. So that enhances the experience, and everybody's going to have a different takeaway.
Accommodation providers like the Georgetown Historic Inn housed meeting goers just a few steps away from the event. Additional rooms were secured a few minutes down the road at Rod Brudenell Resort.
Oh, it's great for the resort. It's our shoulder season, so we're very happy to be a host for them. Being from rural PEI myself, we always come together when needed.
There are so many people from Georgetown volunteering for these things. Like, I remember 2 years ago walking in and seeing these t-shirts, like you've seen the three ladies out front. Well, picture that in about 2 hours, there's probably going to be about 20 of them. That's the heart of a community, right? We always talk about how it's people that stick together and that make a community. Well, we truly see this in Georgetown.
Another occasion where people came together was in the coordination of catering. Local restaurants hosted attendees, and group dinners were coordinated with help from local restaurants the Georgetown Inn, Eden's Gate, and the Maroon Pig.
I think the piece for me is it's like what do you want out of your conference? You know, I run conferences in Canada and all over the world, right? And they're highly participatory experiences. And there's no doubt for me that the circumstance or the space that you're in has an impact upon what takes place. We're taking the rink, right, and we're turning it into a conference center, you know? And so suddenly, for me, it's like, oh, well, every rural community has spaces like that, you know? Anyone could be turning anything into a conference center space. It just takes like a vision and the time and the effort to do it.
Along with the Sportsplex, plenaries were held across the park at the 287-seat King's Playhouse. Organizers wanted to have a truly Atlantic conference, and once again launched Air Georgetown, a Dash 8 chartered from Provincial Airlines, with ground transportation provided by Coach Atlantic, who looked after delegate transportation from Brudenell to the conference.
What the conference did is put on a special plane that flew in from St. John's and picked up half our group there and half in Deer Lake and landed us here just a few minutes ago. There was a bus that picked us up at the airport, bringing us in, which has really made this whole thing workable. To have a conference in a small community a little bit away from the airport is really nice, actually.
When you're ingrained into such an experience, it's a footprint, right, or an imprint on your soul, and you leave and you remember. So I've remembered Georgetown fondly for 2 years, and today is like coming back home.